Hey guys, hello. Welcome to day 6 of the Fantastic Film Festival. I'm Lori Donnelly. I'm one of the features programmers. Thanks so much for coming out to H4z4rd, directed by Jonas Govaerts. It is one of my favorite films in the lineup. I love the creativity of the plot, the chemistry between the two leads, and the frenetic energy that runs throughout it. Last week we were lucky enough to have screenwriter Trent Haga here in attendance, and this time we have the director himself, Jonas Govaerts. Jonas.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, just a few quick words. This is a Belgian movie. We don't really make genre movies in Belgium. I think the last one that you probably heard of, no, this is Fantastic Fest, you know about all of them. But Man Bites Dog is a big one. Not applause for me, but that's fine. I just want to say, like, it played in Belgium. People were mainly baffled by it, so I feel like this is the right audience for it. I made it for you guys. That's what I wanted to say. So enjoy, and I'll be around after. Thank you.
Director Jonas Govaerts.
Thank you.
So this was after talking to Trent. Is that correct? You shot during COVID. How did this whole thing come about?
Yeah, I was actually planning another movie with Trent that might still happen. A bigger movie set in Los Angeles. Then everything shut down, and I kind of felt like, oh, I don't want to. We didn't know how long this was going to last, so I was like, do you have anything small that I could do in the meantime? And he had a script, first draft of something called Interior Car, which was what you write on top of a script. And it had no further headings. So, and the first line of that script was, it was a note, and it said the camera never leaves the car. And I actually didn't have to read much more. It's such a Hitchcockian conceit that I was very intrigued by that. And that became H4z4rd, which is a much bigger movie than Trent initially planned, I think.
Well, the car is such a character in and of itself in the film. Did you design the look of the car?
Yeah. So weirdly enough, Lexus was the only brand that went along with what we were planning to do with the car. And I figured out later why, because they have such a, they don't have the best reputation among like car lovers per se, which means they always go the extra mile to prove themselves. And their big thing is like, we make indestructible cars. And I think this is the big advertisement they needed for that. Like, this car doesn't stop.
So Dimitri Vegas, who plays Noah, he's a really big deal. Like he's a world-renowned DJ with not much acting experience. How did he get involved with this?
He's a Belgian Greek guy, and I'm more of a rock guy. Like I really liked what they were playing in the lobby earlier. That's my kind of music, not this kind of music per se. But he started following me on Instagram. He lives in Belgium, and he just wanted to meet. And he's a big movie geek, like we all are. He's like he likes Batman. He likes Back to the Future. He likes Jurassic Park. And we just started chatting. Never talked about music, thankfully. And he's just like, I really want to act. That's my dream. And I'm like, and I remember Trent's script, and I was like, oh, this might work if we kind of tool it around what he is. And basically, he said about this character, if he didn't have a breakthrough as a DJ, he would probably ended up like this guy. So we completely. I talked to him because it was COVID. He didn't tour around the world. We could sit in his man cave, which is the Bat Cave, basically. And we just talked about this character, and then we kind of molded it around his personality, basically. Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Jonas? Yes.
How did you do the shots of the gasoline and the putting into the tank?
The opening shot, you mean, or?
Yes. Like, how did you film when they're putting the gas pump into the?
Yeah, so it's the opening shot of the movie is the gas tank opening and the what do you call it, the nozzle going in. That was the first of a series of inserts we had planned, and I think for half a day we tried to get that shot because it's such a weird thing to do. And I remember we had completely having to reschedule that day because of how difficult that shot was. So My big fear was that this would be a boring conceit, that if the camera never leaves the car, are you gonna run out of shots? So I wrote down every shot that I wanted to see in a movie like this, and that was really one of the first ones that came to mind. Like I really wanted that weird point of view from the gas tank, but it wasn't easy. Actually, none of those shots were easy to get, but I'm happy we did them anyway.
I saw a hand at the back. Yes.
I was wondering if the script was complete, including the car sex when you got your Lexus sponsorship.
That's interesting. The car sex scene came about because this didn't happen in Trent's script. There was a sex scene, and that guy was very horny. But it was the kind of sex scene where the kind of thing Trent likes to do in his movies. But I was like, I don't think Belgium is ready for Trent. Weirdly enough, we're very okay with just people fucking cars, apparently. So that came about because I wanted to do something completely different. But Lexus did read that, and Lexus didn't mind at all. The weird thing is, there's another brand, I can't name them because of legal reasons, but it became Starglass. I don't know if the actual brand is a thing in America, but in Belgium, every second car commercial is what we made, Starglass. And they were on board, and then they saw a cut, and they're like, no fucking way are you using our name. So we had to come up with a jingle and a name that sounded like Starglass, basically. But it turned out well. I think the jingle is as catchy as the one they have for real.
Any other questions? I have more questions for you. Yeah. Yes.
The finale with the betting victory, was there always that kind of tempering of his loss worked into the film? Did you reach a point in the script writing where it was like, we need to give him a little win at the end? How did that come about?
Yeah, the betting was in there, and yeah, one of the most of my film school was like DVD commentaries, basically. And I remember Rocky ending on that freeze frame of Rocky, where I think, did he lose or did he win? He lost, didn't he? Yeah. Anyway, but he got the girl, so that's fine. Yeah, and I just wondered how far can you push it where the guy's counting down, he could still get up, you don't know, and that's what I really liked. But that whole scene was designed like I knew that we were going to be in the car for 99% of the time. And then I wanted like the most epic view of Antwerp possible, which is that it becomes a drone shot. So I wanted to end on a high, basically, the Rocky feeling. So that's why that scene is in there. And by the way, thank you to the lady sitting next to you who jumped at every jump scare. She scared me, and I've seen this movie a few times. So thank you. Yeah, Dimitri's father, actually, he passed away. We postponed the film, and he's not a very experienced actor, so we were like, oh God, he can't, maybe he won't be able up to this. But it led to that beautiful scene where they're driving to the harbor at night, and the storm's raging. And I remember I wanted him to get emotional, and the actor trick is that let's put some Vicks under your eyes. And he's like, no, I think I can do this. And he basically he composed music for his father's funeral. He put that music in his ear, and I think for 3 to 4 hours he just sat there crying for real. And there was, wind machines going and rain machines going, and he just did that. And I wouldn't never ask that of an actor. And it led to something beautiful, which I'm very happy about.
Yes.
A film played here a few years ago. That's a Netflix movie called Wheelman.
Yes.
Has a similar conceit. Was it an inspiration or was it just parallel thinking?
No, I saw Wheelman. I watched every car movie that could inspire me. Wheelman is Frank Grillo, right?
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool movie that weirdly also stops doing that for a minute. It's also all in the car, I remember that, so I definitely stole some shots from there. But I watched all of them. I watched Duel, the Spielberg movie. It's for free on YouTube if you want to watch it. Clearly I watched Titan again. Yeah. No, Wheelman is I think an underrated movie. Not many people know about it, but I love Frank Grillo, and that was one of the movies that said like maybe I can pull this off for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the films that I thought of the minute I started seeing your fast-forward shots under the music was the French short film Rendezvous, where he races to the top of Montmartre. And I just wondered if that was...
No, who's the director? I don't know that short.
Well, meet up after. I'll totally
Okay,
tell you.
fine.
It's fantastic.
That's really, I just want to know how you shot those kinetic time-lapse point of view in the car shots.
You mean the fast forward things?
Yeah, exactly.
That was a poor second unit guy that took his job way too seriously, and he's like, what are all these locations in the film? And he actually drove them. And if he got stuck behind a car that was too similar, he did it again. So yeah, I still need to pay him. I just remember. Yeah. Thank you, Tom Percent. That was him.
Sex worker talking about being a wolf and turning into dogs. How did that relate to the later dog, or did it not?
No, she wasn't saying she'd turn into a wolf, because I like to make that movie as well one day. No, it's just it's the setup of a wolf running around Antwerp, which actually happened in Antwerp. We do have grenades throwing gangs, and we have wolves that sometimes escape. And I like the idea of them having a children's story that they remembered, the 8 o'clock dog, which was my grandmother used to tell that story. But then I wanted a real wolf, so that scene kind of connects it. You get like, oh, there's a real wolf on the loose in Antwerp, and those two idiots are calling it the 8 o'clock dog because they think it's the 8 o'clock dog. So she was just reminding the audience that a wolf escaped, basically. Yeah.
How did Trent Haga is an American? How did you get involved? How did he get involved with a Belgian co-production?
I saw a movie in 2010 called Dead Girl. Yeah, which is the Me Too movie to end all Me Too movies, I think. And I had a habit, maybe a bad habit, to just, if I liked something, I just find the person on Facebook and contact them, basically. And the trick with Trent was that I said it reminded me of the stories of Richard Lehman. I don't know if he's a novelist and a short story writer, kind of a lower tier Stephen King. And because I dropped in that reference, I think Trent thought, okay, this guy, whoever he is, he might be okay. And then the first time I came to LA, Trent just invited me. He made me Mexican food, and we got along, basically. So it was, yeah, from one annoying Facebook request, that's what happened.
So during COVID, he's in the States. Are you exchanging notes during the production, or are you just going off and doing your own thing?
Mostly he trusted us to do our own thing. The very cool thing was like the tunnel scene. It won't mean much to an American audience, but that tunnel is kind of a landmark in my city of Antwerp, and it's used in rom-coms for the couples to, hand in hand, either they just broke up or they just got together, and that's where they walk. It's like a romantic location. So, and no one, it's for pedestrians, so no one thinks to put a car in there. I wouldn't either. But Trent in LA, while we were prepping, he's like, yeah, I was looking up your city. He's never been to Belgium. There seems to be a tunnel under that river. Can't we use that as a location? And kind of the coin dropped through me. I was like, oh my God, no one's ever done that. And no one will ever do it again because the city was not pleased. But that was Trent Haga's idea, from LA, which was kind of cool. That kind of thing happened a few times.
This is such a fun movie. Thank you so much for bringing it to Fantastic Fest.
Thank you, and thank you for being here.